poison the workplace to the point that companies might be better off if they just called in sick. Can you imagine? It's better for you not to even show up for production. In that same article, a fellow by the name of Spencer Johnson, who wrote a book called Who Moved My Cheese, stated this. He said, he believes research may one day show that the only long-lasting motivation will come from employees who bring it to work in the form of God, spirituality, or something else that causes them to rise to a higher purpose. Why do you think that is? I think it's because God has created us to serve. I believe that God has called us to serve, that God has saved us to serve, and God has commanded us to serve. And wherever we work and whatever we do, we are serving Him. John 10:10 says, I have come in order that you may have life, life in all its fullness. Now, sometimes we might think that that's just all play. But you know what? I think life in all its fullness that Christ is talking about here is serving Him. When you serve, we experience life, and life more abundantly. When you serve somebody else, you are experiencing life. After a time of service, what do you talk about? I'll give you an example. When a bunch of us went down to Outflow and served a meal, what was it that you talked about the next 2 or 3 days? You talked about the experience that you had in serving those people. When I came back last weekend from serving at the retreat, what was it that people asked? How was the weekend? They wanted to know, how was it like to serve at that camp? To serve those kids? That's really the question that was being asked. You see, after a time of service, stories around the service are what you share. You share the experience. You share the joy of the experience. You might even share the difficulty of the experience. But it's the love that was shared that you end up sharing with others and telling others about. You see, God has hardwired us to serve. God has hardwired us to serve, and we are created to serve Him. We are saved to serve Him. We are called to serve Him, and we are commanded to serve Him. The question is, are we willing to accept our assignment where we are? What can you do this week to serve others? And this isn't going out of the way. This is just as you are going. What will you do in serving others? Because when you serve others, you're loving God and you're loving others. Next week, we're going to be looking at spiritual gifts in particular. And so, as we conclude this morning, let's pray together.